Hi, I'm Amy and welcome to A-Star Reads. If I get boring at any point, my animals are back there playing around, so I have quite the distraction for you. Today I'm going to be doing my Finally Fall book tag. I saw this on Sid Bookworm. I know that it was started by somebody else, I think someone named Alina Molina, and her account is no longer active on YouTube, so I was able to find the questions online. I was driving around for work yesterday and all the maple leaves are falling, and fall is really here and I have to accept it. So the best way for me to come to terms with the fact that summer's gone and fall is here is to share with you some books that I love based off these prompts. So you're gonna have to bear with me because I have to look at my cheat sheet a little bit. The prompts are a little bit long, but they're a lot of fun. Prompt number 1 is, in fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. So the book I chose for this is actually Lorna, Doone by R.D. Blackmore. And the reason I chose this, it's not necessarily a very fall forward kind of setting. However, I feel like all the things people complained about this book were mostly like it was boring and there wasn't much of a plot. And I actually kind of like that. R.D. Blackmore did such a beautiful job creating a setting. He was talking about the colors of nature and the changes in the season. And I just thought it was gorgeous. I really loved the setting he created for John Ridd. And John Ridd is the main character. He's this yeoman or farmer whose father is killed by the Doone clan, and the Doone clan are always stealing from everybody in the county. They're causing all kinds of trouble, they're killing people, and nobody can really stand up to them. So within this clan there's this girl named Lorna Doone that as a child John Ridd meets and he falls in love with. So it's not really Romeo and Juliet, but there's that kind of Romeo and Juliet feel where he's falling in love with a daughter from the enemy of their family. And this story just talks about his life, what's going on, and how he falls in love with Lorna Doone and where it goes from there. So the next prompt is, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. So I kind of twisted this one to my liking a little because The Silence of Bones by June Her is so beautifully written and it's a mystery thriller. So there is murder, there's dark themes, there is actually a lot of family drama and sadness. So I feel like this does actually fit the prompt. And even though there's really heavy themes you're dealing with, like murder, death, and family, it's just so beautifully written. I love June Her's writing style. And I actually did a review on this book, so I'll link that here if you want to know a little bit more about it. If you love murder and mystery, it's a fantastic book option. So the next question is, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that has taught you something new. And I read a lot of nonfiction, so I have a lot of options. However, for this one, I'm going to go with The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color-Blindness by Michelle Alexander. It was a very educational book. Stop. It was a perfect book to read to understand why mass incarceration and the war on drugs has been used as a tool to keep Black Americans in this form of second-class citizenship here in the US, and how it continues to be this really debilitating form of systemic racism. I really recommend reading it if you're looking to educate yourself and learn a lot of new things, mind-blowing things that will really change your perspective. Prompt number 4. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend time with people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you'd like to be a part of. Okay, so I kind of picked a weird one, and it's my book tag, so I can decide to view these prompts however I feel like viewing them. I chose Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. So I love Cannery Row, and I loved the characters in the book. They're not necessarily the most perfect people, but they're amazing characters. When I recently went back to Monterey to kind of tour around the Steinbeck area and follow in the footsteps of Cannery Row, it felt like I was coming home, like it felt like I was part of that community. And even though now Monterey is this really touristy place, there were so many nods to Steinbeck, so many nods to Cannery Row and the characters in the story that you almost feel like you're part of it when you go there because you're kind of like in on the secret. And I just loved that feeling. I loved the characters. As flawed as they were, I loved them. I would like to be considered part of the Monterey Cannery Row community because of that book, and it's nostalgic for me. I'm from the Bay Area in California, and so Monterey is something I grew up going to as a child all the time for, the aquarium and the beaches. It already feels like home, so then having this stronger connection by reading Cannery Row, fantastic, loved it. The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground, show us a pile of fall-covered spines. So I don't have a ton of books, to be honest, so I did the best I could here, and so hopefully you enjoy this. I'm gonna put the video up right now. I kind of went for the colors of changing leaves with this. Prompt number 6. Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein someone is telling a story. For this, I just read A Song of Wraiths and Ruins by Rosanna A. Brown, and that one really has a lot of storytelling in it, and fantastic storytelling, and I really wanted to be there when Malik was telling his story to the audience because he seemed like an amazing storyteller, and he was able to use, well, I can't tell you, but if you want to check out my synopsis for A Song of Wraiths and Ruins, I will link the video where I talk about that here. And if you'd like young adult fantasy and you're looking for something complex and exciting, I recommend picking up A Song of Wraiths and Ruins. It's Rosanna A. Brown's first published piece, and it's really good, and it's the beginning of a series, so check it out. All right, prompt number 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite Halloween reads, which is Dracula by Bram Stoker. It is the original vampire novel, I think. It may not be, but I really think it is, and it is fantastic. I feel like it holds its own today. I love the characters, I love the beauty of it. It's just so well written. The storyline is exciting. It gets your heart racing, at least it did mine. Even though we're fairly desensitized to horror nowadays, I thought Dracula was very thrilling, very exciting. If you haven't had a chance to read it and you love vampires, you need to read the first vampire novel. Hey, Editing Amy here. So definitely not the first story which had vampire depictions in it, but probably the most well-known of the first few that came out. Dracula came out in 1897, and I think the first depiction was like in 1819. But I mean, it's the most well-known, so I'm sticking with my you need to read it if you love vampires, because it is one of the most influential vampire novels. Aha! I will say that, and I feel confident in saying that. The last one, prompt 8. The days are getting colder, and name a short, heartwarming read that could warm somebody's cold and rainy day. And for this, I actually chose For He Can Creep by Siobhan Carroll. And the reason I chose this is it was very heartwarming and charming and cute. And yet it had very dark vibes because it was a very short story being held in an insane asylum. It's from the perspective of a cat, and this cat is owned by a poet who actually lives in the asylum. And it's just so fun to see everything from his perspective, kind of see the adventure he ends up on where he's trying to protect his poet, and how he's just got this fierce love for his human, but also, you know, as cats are, he's incredibly self-involved, and it's just so charming. It's really cute, really strange, and very heartwarming. You can find it online at tor.com, and I'll link it down below. I should have included this in my September wrap-up because I actually read it in September, but I completely forgot about it, and that's the problem with short stories. They're fantastic, and it's not like it's not memorable, but, you know, unless I have an actual book of it or something, So an amendment, because this probably should have been included in my September wrap-up. If you want something great for this fall season and you want a quick read, check it out. So that is it. Those were all my prompts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button and subscribe. And I'm going to tag Katja Weinert, Liz from Booking Out Loud, and Amanda from Bookappletree. If you haven't had a chance to check out those channels, they're small booktubers like I am, and I really like their perspectives on books, so go check them out. If you would like to participate in this book tag, let me know what your answers are in the comment section below, or tag me in your video so I can see what kind of books you decided to use. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.